We've all been there, right? You go to a networking event, pass out the business cards or do the little tap thing on your phone, the hi, hellos, whatever. You follow up on LinkedIn and then crickets. Why does it feel like referrals are just a shot in the dark? Well, today's guest is going to break down exactly why your ask might be the problem and how to change the way that you connect so that you can start attracting more aligned opportunities with less effort. Welcome to Rocky Mountain Marketing. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Join us as we dive deep with the world's leading digital marketing experts every single Tuesday. It's all about giving you the strategies that are working right now, directly from those who are making an impact. With my 20 years of experience, I'm here to help you navigate the world of digital marketing. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or transform your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey to success. Welcome back to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. So let me ask you something. When is the last time that someone from your current network actually sent you a solid referral? If your answer is never or has been a while or not nearly enough, you are going to love today's guest and today's conversation because today I'm talking with a friend. We actually go way back. I don't even remember how we got connected, but today's guest is none other than Devin Sizemore. He is a business strategist and a connection builder who's helped connect thousands of entrepreneurs, help them grow their network and their revenue. He's the author of the Connection Expansion book, the creator of the Connection Expansion system, and the guy behind the ACES Connection Group, which is a fast-growing community of ambitious professionals who believe in one thing: relationships drive results. We are talking about the real reason that you're not getting referrals and how to fix that with a simple mindset shift today, and how to build a network that sends you opportunities on autopilot. So Devin, thank you so much for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing today.
Katie, thanks so much for having me. Been looking forward to this conversation.
I know. Well, and how did we get connected, Devin? I feel like we've been connected forever, and I honestly don't remember. I just feel like we've been friends forever. I feel like you've been a Facebook reminder.
It's been a long time. And then I think we actually reconnected in Chris Williams' group, I want to say.
That's right. I think that we were friends on Facebook. We were online friends, and then we were in his mastermind together, and then we've just been friends since then. But well, I'm so glad that, we finally are making this podcast episode happen. And for those of you that are just listening to today's episode, you're not watching it on YouTube, Devin, your shirt is amazing. We're both wearing great shirts that say a lot about us. It's actually pretty funny that we're both wearing these shirts. So your shirt says, "Who can I connect you with?" And my shirt says, "Podcaster, podcaster, podcaster." And on the back of it, you can't see it, it says, "Ask me about my podcast." Oh, yours says, "Real people, real conversations, real connections." See, look at us. We're just supporting our missions here. So let's talk a little bit about why you are the master at connections and why you are really going all in on why you believe connections are the secret sauce to the longevity here.
Yeah, I had a marketing agency, was kind of I call it my first big business. I've always been an entrepreneur, and in the marketing world, I found myself in a crowded market, super noisy, a very scarcity mindset market, right? Everyone's cutting everyone's throat and fighting. I was like, there's just got to be a better way to build a business. I want to control this. I want to do it in a way that's more authentic to me. So adding value, really taking care of other people and attracting customers in the right way. And that then was just me solving a problem. Fast forward to today, it's me building a system that's scalable, teachable, and duplicatable. And so 7 years ago, I was sitting down with one of my mentors, and I've had a consulting company for over a decade. And he's like, "That's great. You're doing good work. You're driving, good results for people. But what about this connection thing? Every time we meet, you talk about this as a formula you help people implement." I'm like, "Oh, I guess you're right." And it kind of clicked in that moment that, you know what, there is a unique way that I've been building networks and I teach people to do it. And I really doubled down in that moment and said, you know what, I'm going to just be that. I want to be the person who not only is super connected, but can teach people how to become a connector and teach people how to get more inbound referrals. And then because I'm a visionary that meets implementer, I wanted to build a system. And so I went out on this mission of how do we get more referrals, but then build this system that a college kid could use or a billionaire could use and get the equal same results.
I love it. And I love that you have a system because that means you have a strategy. Everyone, all you regular listeners of Rocky Mountain Marketing know that strategy is my favorite word. And I think that's the secret sauce. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Most people have no real strategy when it comes to building out a referral network. Why do professionals struggle with getting a predictable number of referrals from their current network or client base?
Yeah, the issue is what we're taught is great. It intends to be good info, but it actually doesn't solve the problem. And so if you go and do research on how do I get more referrals, you find yourself in the world of customer referrals or customer referral strategies. It always ends up customer facing. A little bit of the time, it ends up in the joint venture or affiliate marketing world, but that's typically a B2B space. You're typically a larger company, maybe, more exposure, maybe not a local business. And so the strategies don't really apply all the time. And so that's what I went out to solve is go, well, first, are we chasing referrals or are we chasing connections? I think that's an interesting question because people often focus on referral marketing, but referral marketing implies that you're getting referred to a prospective client. Whereas connections are anyone that's connected to you for any reason. Connections are easier to get, they're easier to manage, and they actually lead to more long-term value because that's where strategic partners live. That's where joint venture opportunities actually live. That's where exponential growth is. Yet so often in marketing and sales, we're taught identify your ideal client and build strategies and language that serve them, which is great. But when we're building a network, we cannot do that because what happens if I say, Katie, my ideal client is blank, and that's who I want you to connect me with. You now have to go through your whole contact list and go, okay, I've got a few people in mind. Then you have to decide, do I like Devin enough to refer these people to him? And do the people I'm referring actually need what he's selling at this moment? And is the price point correct to solve their problem? And you should see the point, right? There's so many barriers to entry when we're chasing referrals. However, if I say, hey, Katie, I want to meet mastermind and community hosts because we can collectively add value to each other's worlds, instantly can go in your network and be like, oh, I got a few people. And then now you're like, I'll make introductions because there's nothing in the way, right? It opens up the path. So we have to reset the way we approach networking and stop doing it in a way that puts up all of these moments of friction.
I love that. And I think that it's a different way of thinking. It almost seems less of a sales focus and more of a give focus, right? So what do you think a common mistake is that a lot of people make when they're networking, but they're actually hurting their chances?
Yeah. So a quote that I use all the time, that's funny. I just added this to my speaker reel because it was missing. Everybody wants to buy, nobody wants to be sold. So let's hear that again. Everybody wants to buy, nobody wants to be sold. We live in a consumer society. We are trained to spend money. We don't have to force it. And so often when we go to networking, let's talk about the typical networking room, right? You walk into a room to network and you look around the room and you see 20, 30, 40, however big the room is. And instantly you start going, okay, like in the real estate world, it's get 3 business cards, right? Like get your 3, like that's the goal. Or maybe you have some inherent goal in your head of, I want to find this many prospects. No. I want you to go in the room and I want you to have one goal. Just meet people. That's it. That's your goal. Your goal is just to go in the room, shake hands, be curious, ask questions, meet people. Now, your second goal is you have to get their contact information because frankly, they don't give a crap what you do and they are not going to follow up with you because we know that's a true statement. People suck at follow up. So you need to get the contact information and then you need to follow up. And this is where you have a chance to be different. Most people follow up and they instantly start jumping in. And let's use LinkedIn messaging for this because we've all experienced it. And if I open my LinkedIn right now, there's probably 40 of them of, hey, Devin, it's so great to connect. And then the next message, right? So the great to connect is the networking event. The next message would be your follow-up email is, it was so great connecting with you. By the way, I sell real estate. Do you want to talk?
Yeah.
You know nothing about me.
For real, like I remember the very first time I went to a networking event and I was like, gosh, everyone here is just trying to sell like insurance to me and like become my financial advisor. And it felt like, well, why would I want to go to any more of these? Like this is of no interest to me. It's just being sold to.
But that's everyone's intent, including yourself. As a listener viewer, that's probably how you're walking into these meetings too is, I'm here to generate revenue. No, you're here to meet people because that's the part you can control. Then you're here to get their contact info because you want to control the follow-up. And then we're going to change your messaging. And so let me tell you what the follow-up email looks like, because this will show you the kind of foundation for the system. My follow-up email sounds like this. Hey, Katie, it was great meeting you at the Chamber Mixer yesterday. I enjoyed briefly learning about you and your business. I'd love to schedule a time to learn more about you and your business so that I can better make referrals and connections for you as I'm out networking. Here's a link to my calendar. I look forward to meeting with you. That's my whole follow-up. It says nothing about this is why I'm amazing. This is what I do. This is what I'm going to try to sell you. It is 100% about the other person and adding value to them. And what you'll find is they'll book a meeting with you because they go, oh, yeah, I'm game to meet you so that you can refer people to me. That's great. And then when you show up to the meeting, again, you can't show up and sell because that's not what you told them. You have to show up and ask curious questions and add value. It's the long game. So many people are chasing today's dollars when you're killing so much opportunity in the process. I want you to play a game where you control everything. You set yourself up to optimize to the best outcome in every moment of the process, and you build a long-term network that will generate more results than you can fathom.
So let's talk about your connection expansion exercise. Let's talk about your framework. What is it and how does it help shift how we're actually asking when we're trying to grow our network?
Yeah, so everything we've talked about already is part of the framework, right? So how we approach networking, the questions we use, how we follow up, how we book a connection meeting, which could be a coffee meeting, how we conduct that meeting in a way that's authentic and beneficial for both parties, not a sales meeting, how we long-term nurture, how we add value, how we task management, and how we do it all in a way, again, that's controllable. So that's the system. And in the book, I cover all of it. In the school community, there's a master class and templates and emails and all the other stuff too.
So real fast, tell us the name of your book again. Where can we get that? Where can we check out the school community?
Yeah, so Connection Expansion is the name of the book. You can get it on Amazon, all formats, and there's an audiobook in case you want to listen to me talk for an hour and 54 minutes. And if you go to connectionexpansion.com, that will get you information about the school community.
So if people are in this community, it talks about everything. And in the book, it talks about. So walk us through how someone could start implementing this. They walk away from listening to today's podcast episode. They're actually headed to a networking event tonight. How could they use it at this event today?
Yeah, so I'll give you that answer. And then I want to talk about just changing how you do one meeting, because this is usually where you start to see this make sense. So when you network, again, I want you to go into this at next event you're going to just to meet people and get contact information. That's it. Hey, it's great to meet you. What do you do? Ask whatever questions feel comfortable. I have a script you can follow, but we don't need to dive in right now. Just meet everybody, get everyone's contact info, send the follow-up email, which I've already shared, or you can grab the template in the community or in the book and get to a connection meeting. Now, let's assume you found yourself in a coffee meeting or a first meeting with someone, no matter how you got there. I want you to take control of the meeting and I want you to follow this flow. And if we can do this, this is where we start to shift the value in these meetings, because you're right. You're showing up for them to sell you because that's what everyone's goal is. But they don't even know if you're a prospective client. So when I start Zoom meetings, I always default to location, just like you did when we met today, which was great. It was fun to watch. Was, hey, remind me where you're at or where do you live? Because it moves you into control of the conversation. Then you can continue to ask the questions because now it's your meeting. So find that icebreaker that shifts the meeting to you being able to ask. In person, ask one of the generic what's going on around you questions, right? What'd you guys do this weekend, right? We just came off a holiday weekend. Tell me what you did with your family. How is summer going? Whatever it is, so that you can ask a question that gets you in control of the meeting. Once you're in control, I want you to follow the 5-step process. I'm going to give it to you now because I want to add a ton of value. It'll be super quick. So step 1, current state. What are you doing? Who do you serve? We then go backwards. Katie, what did you do before? Tell me your story. We then go forwards. What's your big goal, Katie? What are you trying to accomplish? Where are you going? When they answer that question, always become their cheerleader. Heck yes, love that, support that. What's in your way? You told me where you are. You told me where you're going. What's in your way? What are some challenges and obstacles? And then the last set of questions you're going to ask is, Katie, how can I help you? Who can I connect you with, or what problems can I solve for you? I'm controlling the meeting at this point. So in person or virtual, it should take 80 to 85% of the meeting. I'm gathering all the information I need to be able to edify you, endorse you, and endorse you to others and explain why I'm connecting you to others. I have enough information to make strategic connections for you. I also have enough information to figure out maybe if you're a potential customer, which we could book a follow-up meeting for, and it leaves the other person just enough time where they get to ask you a couple questions about themselves, but they don't really have time to sell you, and you've changed the flow of the meeting.
Okay, so that's a lot. Now, we're walking into this meeting. I like that you said taking control of the conversation or taking control of the meeting. Do you recommend doing that at the very first networking event, or is this like at the second event?
Yeah. So when you're networking, I think you should control the question flow. So if I'm meeting a group of people, I ask the same 4 questions every time because, again, it takes control of the conversation. So I don't get stuck in this 20, 30-minute conversation with one person because my goal is to meet as many people as possible. When I'm in a meeting with someone, I want to control the meeting as well. One of my core principles is control what you can control. And so in every part of this process, we want to control the pieces of it we can so that we optimize the system to work for us. And the other person's still going to get value because that's core principle number one. But we want to control it because we know if we let other people control it, they're not going to follow up, they're not going to follow through, or they're just going to sell to me the whole time.
Okay, you said 2 things that I want to make sure I ask you. What are the 4 questions that you want to ask at every networking event?
Perfect. So the 4 questions are, what do you do? How long have you been doing it? If they answer over a year, then you're going to say, you must love what you do, which either triggers one of 2 answers. They're going to say, I love it, or they're going to say, I hate it and I'm stuck. Both are good information for you. If it's been less than a year, you're going to say, what did you do before? And then the last question you always ask is, hey, Katie, who can I connect you with? Who's a good referral for you? Because I want to know who their ideal client is, because that will help me think about future connections for them and already starts to show them that I'm all about them. Again, nothing, I don't want them to know. I could care less if you know what I do because it doesn't matter. What matters is, did you remember our conversation? Did I get your contact info?
Okay. And then you said something else that I think that when I go to networking events, I feel bad leaving a conversation. And you said something like, I'm there to talk to as many people as possible. And so am I. But I feel bad leaving a conversation. And I don't want to hurt people's feelings. How do you get out of these conversations?
Yeah, so you got to find your preferred exit. Some people can do any of these versions. The easiest that adds value is to introduce them to someone else. Hey, I'm enjoying our conversation. Have you met so-and-so? And drag them over with someone you just met, introduce them, let them chat, and then excuse yourself because now they're talking. That one's great because it shows them what you're going to do anyways, which is make connections. I also just use I'm really direct. That's my personality. And so I literally will just tell someone like, hey, I'm enjoying our conversation, but I'd love to meet some more people, just like I'm sure you would. Let me grab your contact info. I'll follow up with you.
Oh, I
And
like that.
that's literally, I'll just use that script. Hey, Katie, you know what? I'm enjoying this conversation. I don't want to take all of your time today because I know you want to meet more people. So do I. Let me grab your contact info. I'll follow up with you. Let's continue the conversation.
So is there any language that people should avoid when they're starting these new relationships at events?
It's all about the other person. So who you are, what you do, how you sell, how amazing you are, none of that matters because it will not influence whether they book a meeting with you unless your only goal is to sell them something. In which case, you're probably not going to sell them anything anyways, because it's such a small fraction of people that are going to book a meeting and buy your product or service right away. And so you don't actually even like your elevator pitch is irrelevant. It actually doesn't matter because when you're meeting, you want to ask all the questions. You want to get the contact info. You don't need to worry about how eloquent you sound or any of this stuff. They're going to meet so many people that night. They're not going to remember. What's going to make a difference is, did you follow up the next day? And is your email about them? And does it actually get you a meeting booked? And if it does, then we can move to the next step of the process, right? So don't go in there selling. Don't go in there with this big ego. Don't feel like you have to justify like, hey, I'm Devin. I've helped generate 100 million in sales through connections. Is that true? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you care? No. Because what you care about is, did I give you value? Did we have a conversation? Did I get your info? Again, the outcome has to be, did you get the info? And then that stack of business cards you have sitting on your desk in front of you. Yes, I know listening and watching. I guarantee those of you there have a stack of business cards. That's useless. Why don't you get them in your CRM, follow up with them, book a meeting, and figure out how you can add value because that starts to get momentum.
So do you have any sorts of tricks to help make you remember who it was that you talked to? Because if you're meeting all these people and you're talking to all these people at the event, how are you remembering all these business cards and who matches up with the names and what is it they do and who you want to connect them with and who you want to introduce them to? What's the trick?
Yeah, so let me take all the pressure off there and then I'll give you a real trick. So first, you actually don't need to because you're going to follow up with the same email template with everybody because your goal is to get them in a meeting. And so you don't actually need to include in the follow-up email, I enjoy talking about your cat or the 49ers or whatever. Like you don't need to do that. You can just use the same script for everyone and it works as long as it's them focused. And the goal is to get them in a meeting. Because in a meeting, that's where we can dive deeper, explore future connections, add value, provide resources. Now, if you find people that are hot, right? Like there's a really high probability you could collaborate, or they did say something that makes them a prospective client, which happens. What I do is when we get to that last question, I say, hey, Katie, how can I help you? As soon as you start answering, I say, hey, wait, can I grab a business card real quick? I'll grab your business card. And on the business card, what I'm writing down is either it depends if you're visual or how you learn. So visual, I like to put a shirt color, like whatever their shirt is, just to visually help me go like red, checkers, whatever the unique thing you told me about it and who I can connect you with. Those are kind of the things I'll write on the business card. But what I found over time is it doesn't matter whether I do any of that because I'm going to put you in the CRM the same way. I'm going to email you the same way. I'm going to follow up the same way. And I'm going to book a meeting the same way. So actually, it doesn't matter. What you have to do is get their info in a controlled environment where they expect to be followed up with. And as long as that's a true statement, the rest of the system works.
I love it. Okay, we don't have much time left, but as we wrap up today's episode, how do you know that these networking events are actually working for your business?
Yeah, so you've got to play the game in a way you win, right? And so we've talked about two of the core principles. The other three are there's value in every relationship. So every single person you're meeting can provide value to you, whether it's an introduction, a connection, or be a potential client. The next one is never make an assumption about a connection. And so anyone you're referred to connect with has value. And the last one is trained by doing. So if you want connection to referrals, you have to do that. You have to be a servant leader first. And so every opportunity you have to meet new people is an opportunity for success. But if you're sitting in the room waiting for someone to reach out to you, you failed. So you got to go back to the core principle, control what you can control. Show up, meet people, get their contact information, and then change the way you follow up, right? I want you to use our email script to get people into meetings. I want you to conduct the meeting in a different way. I want you to follow up from the meeting, adding value. And I want you to only sell when they indicate they want to buy. And then it's easy. Then you actually don't even have to sell. You just let them purchase, right? Stop running out there trying to chase today's sell. Start building a network that matters and benchmark your success on how many new contacts did you make? How many new meetings did you book? How many connections did you make for others? Because it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So if you want connections to come in for you, you need to make 3. If those are all true statements, we just need to add more numbers. So we need to meet more people, book more meetings, make more connections. If I do those things following the process, the output has to be more inbound connections. The better you get at changing your ask, the higher quality those connections get, the more value you're going to get over time. Just change the script and stop doing what everyone else is doing.
Oh man, so good, Devin. I'm so thankful that you and I were finally able to make this episode happen. This has been such a good one. And I know for me, networking has been it's been an amazing part of being an entrepreneur. It was something when I first started my business, I was very hesitant about doing, but referrals, it's one of my favorite things to do is refer business to other people. And when referrals come in, it's such a big honor. Devin, tell us again where people can check out the book, check out the community, all the things, connect with you. Tell us all the things.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm really glad we chatted too. And I know we packed a bunch in, so re-listen, re-watch, lean in. The Connection Expansion book is on Amazon, so you can just search Connection Expansion Devin Sizemore. It'll pop up, all formats. ConnectionExpansion.com will take you to information on the school community, or you can go to devinsizemore.com. My name's on the screen. For those of you listening, it's DEVIN and then sizemore.com. All sorts of info, resources, and tools. Core principle number 1 is always add value. And so there's a ton of value out there that's free and you can get involved however you see fit.
I mean, yeah, like you said, Devin, you literally just gave us the entire roadmap to getting more referral business and how to get more, how to be a better networker. And when you go to these networking events, how to get better leads into your pipeline. So go connect with Devin. Seriously, he is the connection guy. Grab a copy of his book, check out his ACES connection group, or head over to his website. Everything is linked in the show notes. Here's my challenge to you this week. Reach out to one person that you've lost touch with, exactly like Devin said. If you have not reached out, sent out those 3 connections, for every 3 you send, you'll get 1 back in return. Send a quick message, say hi, start a conversation, whether it's on Facebook Messenger or if it's an email or a text, whatever. Send that quick message because just like Devin says, You are just one connection away from a game-changing opportunity. I will see you in next week's episode. So keep your marketing smart, strategic, and always on trend. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.